Death. I think we're all familiar with the concept. There will be a day, there will be a moment where every single person that you know will be rid of this side of the mortal coil. They will see past the curtains of consciousness and see what's on the other side. But that day, hopefully, is not today for most of you. And we're going to be talking about some of the worst ways people have passed. I was going to say chose to pass, but a lot of the times they didn't get to choose this fate. And I think there is no better way to spend this Tuesday, that's when I'm trying to get out this video, than to look at some of the best and the worst ways that it could all potentially end, okay? We're just here to have a fun little ranty video. I felt special. I wanted to get something out today because I got some good content for the next week planned for you guys. I cannot wait to see your reaction to it. And I decided no better way to get you into that mood for the coming content than to go over something that isn't so lighthearted. Ways that you can go in some of the worst ways in history that people have gone. Please consider a like, comment, and subscribe for that thrilling intro. We're trying to get to 50K subscribers by the end of the year. We are on track to do it because of you guys. And with all that out of the way, all I gotta say is thank you, everybody who chooses to watch my channel. It really is a humbling thing to see, like I remember when I first started, I would be happy if we broke 1,000 views, and now we're to the point that every video that I put out, that we're getting over 10,000 views. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but you're talking to a dude who worked at Walmart, okay? Like, this is humbling for me, okay? Never thought we would get here. I'm making a video going over the worst ways that people have expired, and there's people actually wanting to watch this. So with all that out of the way, without getting too sentimental, let's get into the video of the worst ways to die tier list. Passing in your sleep. Okay, I want to start off pretty happy. Okay, I say happy, but like, you know what I mean. Okay, passing in your sleep, that is like the fade to black of all deaths here. Okay, let's be real here. Most of the time, it's another thing that happened. You probably either had a heart attack in your sleep and you probably weren't fully asleep. You were kind of like half there, and then you decided, hey, whatever. And then you were just done. Okay, I think most of the people that pass in their sleep, they're probably not in sleep, okay? And we'll cover some other ones that technically meet this, but I mean, it's pretty good though. Like I'm trying to name a negative. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. It's kind of hard to name a negative, bro. It's a peaceful way to go out. Maybe you had a good dream, maybe you had a bad dream. It would suck though. Like your last conscious moments is a nightmare. Ooh, that's kind of sucky. But like, would you rather it be a nightmare? Would you rather just be in like a hospital room? Like that's my immediate thought here. Like if you were to ask me what's my life length that I'm looking for, I'm looking like 70. I think 70 years old, bro. I'm seeing a lot of old people on the news lately, and I'm gonna be real here, man. I don't know if I want to make it there. Okay, like I'll be real, bro. I think 70, 72. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, because once you cross a certain point, then it just gets to, like, they look sad. Find me a happy-looking 82-year-old, bro. Like, find me one that looks happy. Good luck with that, okay? Where was that? Oh, yeah, passing in your sleep seems pretty lit, man. Like maybe if it's a heart attack, if it's a stroke, it's not too good. But, like, in those situations where it's like, he passed in his sleep peacefully. As long as they're not BSing me on that, I actually think that's a pretty good way to go. And I want a good thing to like set the grounds for this, and I'm going to put that in good. I think that is possibly the best way to go out compared to these, in my opinion. Burning to death. Yes, no, we're going straight into some of the worst ones. Burning to death, the more you understand it, is probably one of the worst ways to go, like ever. Because you don't die, most of the time, you don't die from the initial burning. You die from the smoke inhalation. Yes, the carbon dioxide that you're going to inhale from inhaling your own smoke or you're in a fire has a higher chance of killing you, or not a higher chance. It is going to kill you quicker than actually like roasting to death. Because what's killing you when you're roasting to death is like, we're talking about like, or you could go in the sock and die, like you effectively, your body just short circuits and you're like that would, again, that'd be... Oh my gosh, these all suck. Oh, smoke inhalation, you'll die quicker if we're going into there. But if you're just burning to death, like they got it rigged up, like you're tied to a stake because you're in the Salem witch trials and you learned how to make fire with flint and steel and you did that too good. Or you're a chick and you just know how to do basic math. Yeah, bro, like, being burned at the stake. Like, what type of time did y'all have on your free hand? Like, when I look at, like, those old-fashioned ways that, like, people would do executions, I look at that and I'm like, that's a lot of people that have a lot of pent-up aggression, that have a lot of free time. Who has that much time to grab that much wood, chop that much wood, save the bark off a tree, and then tie a chick to it that just learned how to do basic algebra? And, like, like, is your life really that boring that that's what you wanted to do? We could dedicate a whole video to the Salem witch trials one day. But, dude, like, Salem witch trials was, like, the most petty thing I've ever seen because it effectively boiled down to, your land is on my land. You put a spell on me! Yeah, that's effectively what it boiled down to. Burning to death, though, bro. That's the worst. Not. Is it the worst? And you can make a solid argument. Now, even if you're roasting to death, okay, let's be real here. It's 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes roasting to death. Smoke inhalation, that'll get you quicker. You'll probably go in the sock before then. You'll probably start losing feeling in your nerves because you'll just get, it's so bad. I mean, I'm going to put it in please no. Please no. Yeah, please no. It has the pain aspect. It has the panic aspect. It has the brutality aspect to it. Like you're losing who you were because you're just melting away. Yeah, it's please no. I'm trying to play devil's advocate with that one. I started off heavy, but believe it or not, that's actually not the worst one. Historically speaking, it's not. Drowning! See, when you're drowning, okay? It's not a good way to go. That's the problem here. Like, there's no argument that I can put forward that's gonna make it good. However, I can add in, like, a little bit of a caveat here. After a certain point, your body just gives up and is like, you know what? We're just gonna pass into a slumber, and then we're just gonna, it was a good run, boss. Like, let me tell you something, bro. Your boy has some experience getting choked out, okay? Your boy trains a little bit of jiu-jitsu. And let me tell you something. You never really get used to almost going unconscious. And when your body goes unconscious, your body's effectively telling you, yeah, nah, bro, we're dead. Okay, we died. Like, when you wake up after being unconscious, you get, like, almost like a euphoric feeling to you. It feels like you're intoxicated. Because your body has hit you with so much, like, dopamine? Maybe not dopamine. Listen, you're hearing, like, an upstairs chemist here. But you get into, like, this, almost like an intoxicated feel. Because your body's like, oh, whoa, I'm alive! Like, that's effectively what your body is doing after you wake up when you're unconscious. So when you're drowning, like, you're going out before 3 minutes, bro. Like, you're gonna pass out before then, and then you're just gonna go sink straight down. You're going down for real. It's not like you're gonna be unconscious and then you're gonna have the panic. No, your body just gave up on you right there. The initial panic is going to be the worst part about it. I don't think that anybody's ever gonna be like, oh yeah, well, it's not too bad. No, it's not, like, peaceful all the way. But you don't have the, like, roasting aspect of it as being, like, burned alive. If we're dealing with carbon monoxide too, then you actually are suffocating as well. Actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, bro, but drowning is not as bad as being roasted alive. That's all I'm gonna say on this one. Decapitation. Controversial take. It actually doesn't sound like the worst way to go out. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll be real with you. If I'm already dead, okay, I don't really care what happens to my body. Like, that's not a big thing of mine. Like, that's not over here, like, in my will. I'm over here, like, and have me kept well in my favorite leather suit. And, like, no, I don't care, dog. I'm dead. Like, that's not a big thing for me. If I'm getting decapitated, like, it's a means of dying. Also, fun fact, did you know that people were still getting executed via the guillotine when Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back was in theaters? Yes. The only reason I remember that is I read that in a book of, like, Guinness facts. But yes, no, that's a real thing. Back in France, the guillotine was used as a execution method all the way up until the theatrical release of Empire Strikes Back. That's hilarious to me, because then I think to myself, okay, well, if you've committed to the bit to that point, why did you get rid of it? Like, I'm sorry, if we made it all the way up into the 70s and we still didn't get rid of that way of dying, or execution. What made you want to get like, I'll be real with you. I think lethal injection almost sounds worse than decapitation because it's like, it's so quick via the guillotine that you're just done. Like, I'll be real with you, bro. If we're talking about decapitation and, like, you got to take, like, 3 swings, like, ugh. Because you get hit with one, you're just disabled. It depends on where they start. They start right here. Oh, here, pretty bad. The guillotine, brother, it's just instantaneous. Nobody took 2 hits from a guillotine. You ain't built like that. You don't got that Mike Tyson neck, brother. The guillotine, it's quick. Like, it's a quick, done. I can't believe I'm arguing in favor of the guillotine. It's a matte one. It's not as peaceful. It's like there's a lot of panic in between. But like at a certain point, like if you're in like the French Revolution and they just decapitated 300 of your royal homies, it gets to a point where you're like, all right, bro, do it. Okay, maybe like I'll get even extra sassy about it. And then I'll be like, they think you're like a witch or something. And you're like, all right, F it. I curse you, like you're in the middle of doing like an incantation from Harry Potter saying like, if abracadabra to all the people in the crowd. And they're like, I knew it! Like, yeah, like at that point I'm trolling. Because I already know I'm gonna die. Like there's a certain point where you have to have that like acceptance of like, oh yeah, I ain't making out of this one, boss. But guess what? And then you just throw the bird at him right there. The guillotine, it's quick. It's an instantaneous death. Unless somebody that is has really bad aim. With an axe. It really is crazy how often people use the guillotine once it was made. Like that, the dude who made that was like, good fucking job, dude. Yeah, they love your invention, man. Also, the dude who made the guillotine got executed via guillotine. Yes, that is again a real fact that you can look up. Lethal injection. I mean, like, this is where it gets weird to me, okay? Like, when we talk about, like, the death penalty, it is always weird. Like, I can agree that there's certain forms of the death penalty that are just straight up, like, inhumane, and yeah, nah, it's not. It's just not cool. It's not cool, bros. The hard-hitting facts right there. But, like, when we talk about lethal injection, the humane way to end a life, I'm like, what are we categorizing as humane? Like, yeah, we're not crucifying people anymore, but, like, you can make a solid argument that the guillotine is a pretty humane way to dispatch somebody because it's an instantaneous done. Again, nobody is tanking 2 hits from it. Like, nobody's doing that. Lethal injection, like, you pass in your sleep. Like, I guess if that's what we're gonna play, but it's also, like, the first chemical that they give you in lethal injection is a sedative where you're basically paralyzed in your own body. So, like, there's a lot of, like, again, I don't know how true this is. This comes from a lot of scary stories on the internet, but I do know the first chemical that they give you is a sedative that effectively puts you in sleep paralysis. What if this is the biggest troll in our legal system where they just paralyze you and then they hit you with, like, the most painful chemicals known to man? As like a, nobody's gonna see you, boss. I'm sorry we're getting dark in here, but like, the point I'm trying to make here is like, how do we know the lethal injection is like, not pain? Like, is it painful or like, I feel like we're getting kind of into semantics here. They also tried, I think it was a nitrogen injection. It was the new way they wanted to try executing somebody. And they fucked it up and it took him 8 minutes to die. And they just had to wait there as he was flapping like a fist on top of the operating table. Which, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what bro did. But like, there's quicker ways to end a life, bro. That's all I'm saying. I mean, like, as far as we know. We don't know what lethal injection feels like, okay? You're only ever trying it once, okay? It is the forbidden chiropractic chair. But, I'm gonna put it in meh. I'm gonna put it in meh right next to the guillotine. Guillotine, if you ask me, hey, how would you want to go? Lethal injection or guillotine? I honestly might choose the guillotine because I know for a fact that's instantaneous because nobody's tanking it of multiple hits. I know I keep on saying that. But, like, imagine you're in a lethal injection and they mess up one time. Like, there's a lot of... Okay, we're getting too into the sauce, okay? Next one! The firing squad. Okay. This is also going to effectively just if you get gunned down. Here's the thing. It is, like, the de facto execution method during war times. It depends, okay? Like, how good are the marksmen here? I feel like if you're, like, a really big asshole during wartime, everybody's just aiming for your kneecaps. Okay? Like, they ain't going for the lethal blow. They're just here, hey, I aim for the left, you aim for the right. You hit his elbows, and you just effectively go. Like, it depends. Who's the people in the lineup? Like, are they all aiming for my head? Or are they aiming center mass here? Like, it could effectively be a very quick death, or it could be slow. Like, what is a bad death? I would say a slow and painful one. I think slow and painful is probably the worst way to go. Fast and painless is the best. Fast and painful. Like, a millisecond of pain, is that really like... Oh no! Like a millisecond of pain. Like a sharp needle. Like, is that really that bad? When we're talking about a firing squad, okay, like... How many are in the line? How many shots are we getting off? Like, I would be that guy. I'd be like, hey, oh, can you just make it quick, dog? Like, And then they play this game where they're like, we're going to point you the other way so you can't look. Like, no. Pointing you guys. You can put a blindfold on me, but I don't want an excuse for why you guys missed. Like, no, I want you guys to see the target. And I'm like, if I know I'm going, I'm like, okay, here we go. Take a shot. Okay, do it. Like, if I know I'm going to go, I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you because at the end of the day, I would be the one suffering in this one. Like, in all these situations, I've already accepted my death. Okay, like that, I understand there's a caveat here, but I think, yeah. Sounds crazy, bro, but I'm going to put this in meh. But I'm going to put this in meh, top of meh, going into bad. Because you can mess up. Like, people have been able to tank a firing squad a little bit and still, like, have a few seconds of life. And that is longer than getting hit with a guillotine. Radiation poisoning. Dog, if you want to go down a sad rabbit hole, look up the, I think this actually is categorized as the worst death in, like, modern history. It was a dude, he got hit with, like, I forget what it was. Oh my gosh. It's gonna bother me, dude. It was a Wendigoon video a long time ago. That's where I got to hear about it, and then I went down a rabbit hole. But effectively what happened is a bro was working at a nuclear factory. Already starting off bad. And then he got hit with what would be 13 times the lethal dose of radiation, and he didn't die on the spot. What ended up happening is his body effectively forgot how to run. So every little bit of his body that was in charge of, like, cellular respiration, okay, the thing that literally keeps your cells alive, wasn't working. He couldn't make new blood, so his effectively was like poisonous blood running through his veins. His skin could not regenerate at all because his body forgot how to make skin cells. Radiation, okay, imagine your entire body is like an iPad. If you get hit with radiation, that is effectively me destroying every bit of code that is inside of your iPad to the point that it can't run even the most basic of tasks, and then it just slowly withers and dies. I think the plague is probably one of the worst ways to go because it has a way of breaking you down into like almost this primal unworking state of like death, really. Radiation is like the modern version of that. Like, boom, instantaneous, your body just doesn't know how to work. It is, the more you go down, the sadder it is. Like, best case scenario, you get cancer and die. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you're working through radiation sickness that is effectively ravaging your body to the point that it forgets how to do even the most basic of things. To the point that your body just becomes like a water balloon of toxic blood and guts, dog. Like, that's the worst way to go on it. Like, yeah, I'm actually putting this. If you knew you were going to die, like, please no. Like, this is actually going up at the top. This might be the worst way to go, now that I think about it. Crucifixion. Holy crap, bro, I forgot that this one was next. I genuinely, as I was finishing up the radiation poisoning, I didn't know. Wow, I'm immediately going to have to go back on my word here. This is actually the worst way to go. I think they actually categorize this as the worst possible execution method of all time, which is kind of crazy that we figured it out so soon. Like, I've said this once, I've said it twice, I'll say it again. It is really depressing how most of our innovation throughout the entirety of history was either new ways to get women to get laid with us or war. The Assyrian Empire, okay? I don't know if you guys ever heard about this. It's called the Train of the Blind Men. During the Assyrian Empire, also, the Assyrians are the goat of torture. They are. I've already said that. The Assyrians were the goat of torture. What they did is they invented a steam engine. The Assyrian Empire invented a steam engine. 500 years the first steam engine was made during the Industrial Revolution. What did they use it for? For good, for agriculture, for transport? No. They used it to blow hot steam to blind people. So what they did, and first off, this is like evil genius. So they were fighting a war. What they did is they took all the prisoners that they were able to find, like POWs. And people thought they just executed them and tortured them because that's what they thought the Assyrians were doing. No. They blinded all of the prisoners of war that they had, took one guy, plucked out one of his eyes, and then chained him to the rest of the blind POWs. And then they had to walk back to the town that they were from. And then they would be such a burden on the city-state that they went back to that it would tank the entire economy to the point that they literally would just give up because they wouldn't have enough food for the war and to feed the blind people. What a crazy level of evil genius to make a steam engine just to blind people. Crazy level pettiness. Assyrian is the goat of torture. Crucifixion has been around for such a crazy amount of time. It just got popularized by the Roman Empire because they really loved crucifixion, dude. There was another weird story that the entire Roman road that went through the whole Roman Empire, when they were fighting a war, they had a crucified enemy of the Roman Empire every 100 feet. Imagine how often you see a power pylon, and imagine that was a crucified enemy of the country. The Romans were on a demon level timing for such a long time that we just forget about it because we're like, oh yeah, that was history. The Romans were on demon mode. They invented crucifixion. Okay, I'm sorry. Crucifixion, it's a multi-day long struggle. I mean, like, do I need to explain why this is the worst one to you? You are nailed to a board, and you effectively die over the course of 3 days. Drowning is moving down the no because, yeah, it is so bad I have to move down drowning. I'll take drowning over that. Being mauled to death, yes, this is still a thing. People still get mauled to death fairly often. What's the animal? Okay, like, legitimate question here. Like, let me ask you a question, my boys, okay? My toxically masculine audience. Actually, I think that's like a small portion of you, actually. What animal would you die in a 1v1 to if you were given the choice, okay? Like, you're gonna die anyways, bro, okay? But you have a choice. Either die via cancer or leukemia, or you die in a 1v1 to an animal. What animal are you choosing, bro? Like, if I get mauled to death, here's the thing. What is the worst animal to get mauled to death by? Ooh, Komodo dragons. Komodo dragon, a snake, 100%. That's the worst one because you're still consciousness as you're being swallowed. A wolf is pretty bad, but wolves are pretty efficient at killing things. They just go for the neck and snap your neck. Cougars are the most efficient. Big cats are the most efficient. They're effectively the one punch man of the animal kingdom. They just stroll in, slit your throat, bite your throat out, done. Now the bears, okay, let me tell you something. A bear will 1v1 every animal on this planet and win. If you were to ask me who wins in a fight, a grizzly bear or a gorilla, I say the only way that the gorilla wins is the grizzly bear offs himself before he even gets a chance. The grizzly bear will beat every animal on this planet aside from maybe a hippopotamus or an elephant. But that's kind of broken. I'm sorry, elephants are pretty broken. But if we're going off predators, strict predators, bears are probably one of the pound-for-pound most devious animals on the planet. The reason that these animals maul you alive is because they're so efficient and powerful at killing things that they forget that they have to kill the animal itself in order to kill it. Let me give you an example. There's a lot of times where they're hunting elk. The only reason that a bear would kill an elk outright is because they're worried that the elk is going to get back up and run away. They're so fucking lazy that if they can hold you down pretty well, they'll just eat you as is. That's why, like, a lot of people that get mauled by a bear, they just get disemboweled because they're like, oh, squishy. Oh, how you doing, Phil? just talking with his bear buddy over there while you're going, ah! Like, bro, that's one of the worst ways. Like, that's awful. Okay, getting eaten alive? No. The reason I'm not going to put it in please no is because if it's I'll take a cougar death over getting burned alive. I'll take a cougar death. That's fairly quick. Yeah, bear death's rough. No, yeah. Buried alive. If you look through the entirety of human history, it is terrifying how often this happens. Bro, I know I already told this story, but there was a story during the Spanish flu where so many people were dying in the hospitals that the moment somebody was unresponsive for like an hour, which was fairly normal, you're just sleeping for an hour, they would take you out of the hospital. Oh my gosh, bro, this story freaks me out. They would take you out of the hospital, put you in a casket, bury you in the backyard of the hospital, but they would put a bell inside of the casket where if you woke up, start ringing the bell ferociously, and then the groundskeeper would come in and dig you up and then take you back inside. And first off, number one question, do you have any idea how many times you had to fuck up this process in order to understand that this was happening? Like, imagine if you just F up setting up the bell. Okay? And, oh yeah, if you're curious how many people got buried alive? When the Spanish flu was nearing its end, they exhumed a lot of the bodies to get put into graveyards. And they were curious, so they opened up the caskets. They found that the people in the caskets had lost their fingernails or broken their fingers scratching at the top of the coffin. Oh, that's awful, bro. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. And like, you're just in complete darkness as you're running out of oxygen and you realize you're sick at the... Yeah, oh my gosh, bro. Please no. Please no. Like, this is a multiple day long thing, too. Oh my gosh, that's such an awful way to go, dude. The plague! This goes for the bubonic plague, Ebola, just about every... We've been hit with so many, bro. Like, it is kind of crazy that, like, the only real predator of, like, mankind going into, like, the modern age has really been disease. Like, if you think of viruses as... I know that's not true. I know viruses technically, like, they're a life form, but, like, kind of a life form. But if you thought of them, if there was an animal that killed as many people a year as diseases did, you would consider them the apex predator of everything that's ever lived. We have been fighting basically an arms race with disease ever since we found out what penicillin was. And we found out what penicillin was during the bubonic plague because they found out that mold that grows on top of bread during moisture, it can be formed and distilled into a form of an antibiotic by eating moldy bread. Yes, they found out the basics of antibiotics by eating moldy bread during the bubonic plague. First off, history becomes a lot more scary when you realize that everything that we figured out was through trial and error or human experiments. We invented antibiotics through desperation and just sheer luck. We had moldy bread, and we made more powerful antibiotics by distilling the mold over and over again, and then we were able to make penicillin. Awful. Plagues, I mean, there was a reason that plagues were, like, seen as, like, the bane of human existence for so long. I mean, like, no. I mean, here's the problem. There are some plagues that kill you very quickly, but then there are some that just keep you alive for a very long time. I don't want to have too many things in please no, so I'm going to put plagues at the top. Okay. And I already see we have a problem. So before we get into the final one, I'm going to make one difference here. Okay? I'm going to move the firing squad into bad because I don't know if this last one is going to qualify for bad, and I want to fill up all the tiers. And I think people can agree, firing squad and bad, that's a valid take. Final stands. Oh, yes, bro. We're talking about Halo Wreaths, bro. Halo Wreaths hit everybody in the feels, man. I remember going into, like, high school, and keep in mind, this was a long time after Halo Wreaths, and people would still bring up references of, like, a final stand that... I do believe this. The final stand was something that was in, like, human DNA, but it's more prevalent in, like, male DNA, as, like, that's a pretty good way to go out. Because, okay, I don't know, this might be your guys' first introduction into me. Genetic memory is a big fascination of mine. The thought that your bloodline can suffer so much trauma that your ancestors saved a memory inside of DNA to prepare you for said trauma if it were to ever happen again. Here's an example of this. They believe the reason that children are afraid of a monster in the dark is that's a carried over genetic memory from when we actually had to we were worried of dying to, like, a saber-toothed cat entering into our hut. That's what they believe that's from. That is the going theory here. Another one, Uncanny Valley. One of the theories around why we have the Uncanny Valley, the fear of humans that don't quite look right, is we had a conflict with the Neanderthals, and they were absolutely no-diffing us in 1v1s, so we had to learn how to differentiate faces. That's also why when you look at a video game, you're able to pick out faces better than backgrounds. When people ask me, like, when do you think we're going to get to graphics that are indistinguishable from reality? I'm like, brother, we already have got there. If I show you a picture of a landscape from RDR2 and of real life, most people would confuse RDR2 for real life. No, people can pick out faces better. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes, genetic memory. It is weird how many dudes have this in, like, grain to them, that, like, a final stand isn't the worst way to go and is actually a pretty honorable way to go because of how many times it's probably happened in your bloodline. The only reason that you are here watching this YouTube video right now, either on lunch, cleaning your house, I don't even know, what are you doing when you're watching my videos? That's actually a serious question. Is because somebody in your bloodline was an absolute Jocko Willink level Giga Chad, where bro was slaying men at the same time that he was getting laid. Okay, that is why you are here. And he probably died having a 300 Battle of the Hot Gates level last stand, and probably said some cool shit like, "Today I will make a god bleed." And then he throws a spear and is able to cut the cheek of Xerxes the Almighty. I love 300, bro. I understand it's not historically accurate. I love that movie, bro. It's good. Zack Snyder was doing some substances when he was doing that movie, though. Watch that movie today and tell me Zack Snyder was not on some hard shit making that movie. When we talk about a last stand, bro, you and your boys, absolutely, okay, ripping through enemy units, having a battle, you're losing your brethren one guy at a time until you are the final one, and you've already accepted that there's no way of making it out. It gets to the point where if you were to get out of this, the survivor guilt would eat you alive each and every single day. So you have peace with this of, I would die with my brothers here. That's a pretty good way to go, bro. I'm hyping myself up. I'm going to put this in meh. Yeah, I'm going to put it in meh, man. Okay, top of meh, I'm not going to lie, it's not a great way to go out. Sentimentally, though, there's a lot of people that would rather take this compared to all of these, okay? You're dying for something, you're dying for the brothers and sisters that you were fighting with at the time. I'm going to put it there. I think that's pretty good. And back in the day, you were literally fighting with your brothers, okay? Like, your blood brothers were fighting with you. So, yeah, meh. And there you go. That is the best and worst way to go tier list, okay? I understand this was kind of a random video, but I've been flirting with making this video ever since... It's actually been a while since I've been flirting for making this video. And I needed to rant about something. Yes, every single time I make a video, it's because I want to rant about something. Yes. Is it really nice? I don't care. I need to rant about it. That's why I want to talk about it. And we got a lot of stuff that I'm planning on ranting about. Please consider like, comment, and subscribe. Look at the community page to see for upcoming videos. If you want to get an extra leg up and even request a video, you could do it in the comment section. I do see those. But if you go into the Discord and put it in the video suggestion tab, yes, I will see them. And there you go. That is the video. Thank you for watching. I'm blessed to do what I do. I am under no illusion of that. We've come a long way, man. Honestly, it's pretty insane. And I hope you guys enjoy this content. I'm blessed to do what I do. With all that out of the way, have a great day. Thank you for watching. And I will see you all next time.